Good morning. Welcome to the Botanical Garden. I'm Norm Geisinger, and I am a volunteer and a friend of the garden. And the things that I do here at the garden is I work on the trees, I work with the koi in the pond behind you, and basically a gardener. I'm also a tour guide in the garden, the general garden, but most of my activities are here in the Japanese garden. And the reason for that is I've been interested in Asian culture for many, many years. And I have been doing bonsai, which are creation of the small trees in miniature that the Japanese do for about 30 years. In fact, I just came back from a weekend of study for 3 days in a workshop related to the bonsai activities that I'm involved in. We have lots of activity from the standpoint of wildlife in the Long Life Pond, which is behind me. There are koi, which are not large goldfish. They are a separate species of fish and will typically live at least 20 years. And as I said, they're not large goldfish. They're goldfish and koi are from the same basic species family, which is carp. Koi are carp with colored scales on them. We currently have a little bit of a campaign going on to ask people not to come and feed the koi any kind of bread or crackers that come from white flour. It is not good for the fish, it's not good for us, and we're asking folks to back away from that and bring real koi food. Or if you have to bring something, bring plain old Cheerios, no sugar or anything like that on them. So we have a little campaign to try to educate folks that that type of food is not good for the fish at all. You asked me why I'm a friend of the garden. I mentioned the fact previously that I'm involved in bonsai. And I moved here about 1.5 years ago because my daughter and granddaughter live here in Birmingham. And I've been interested in Asian culture, interested in doing the bonsai trees. And did gardening with my daughter when she was growing up. My wife always told me we had movable plants in the front of our house because I kept changing them around. So I have a long-term interest in gardening and in plants. For me, this was the ideal thing. I'm retired, as you can probably tell, and so I can come over here. I'm 10 minutes away, so it was like a perfect fit for me. And I would really encourage anyone who has a love of gardening, a love of plants and trees, become a friend of the Botanical Garden, become a member, and then if you have time, even if it's 2 hours a week, come on over, volunteer, and you can pick any one of the 25 gardens to work in, which is really cool, because you can decide in working in the wildflower garden, and they'll train you about the plants that are in there. And so don't worry about it if you don't know anything about it. We'll help you learn. But come on over, join the Friends of the Garden, come on over, be a volunteer, or just come on over and see this great place.